like stiff. There we go. Recording. Bam. All right, you let me know when you're ready to go, and we'll get it rolling.
I'm ready whenever you are, Buttercup.
All right. Here we go. We're recording. And
3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
What's up?
We're in episode 4?
4.
Episode 4. Halfway through the debates, right here. Welcome to where universes collide. I'm Seth.
And I'm Josh.
Unfortunately, let's get rolling. Welcome to. Fuck it. Oh my God.
We'll look at that. We'll cut where it says let's get it rolling, and
let's just rerun it.
Want to redo it?
Yeah.
All right.
Give me a countdown.
3,
Right?
2,
all right.
1.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Where Universes Collide. I believe this is episode 4. Halfway through the debates. 4. Halfway through the debates. I'm Seth.
And I'm Josh.
Let's get this thing rolling. All right. Pause. Millie rocked in a little bit. All right.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Where Universes Collide, episode 4, Battle of the Gods. Superman versus Thor. I am so happy to be on this episode. If you notice, my background's a little bit different. It's because I'm in Tampa, Florida right now visiting a friend. You know, the weather was like 85 degrees today, so it was kind of nice. It was pretty nice, you know. I want to say first off, before we get started, though, Seth, congratulations on your win last week. I completely understand why people chose Catwoman as the worst movie of all time. They were both terrible. Catwoman wins, hands down. So I will be putting the donation in, probably actually during the show when you're talking, because I don't want to listen to you talk. You know, it doesn't really matter what you say. Superman sucks. So, but I do want to say congratulations. And before we really get into the whole debate stuff, thank you to every single one of our sponsors and everyone who's donated. I never thought we'd be where we are right now and where we're going to continue to grow. I'm excited to see where we end at the end of this podcast, the end of the debates, and I know Seth is as well. And I'm sure he'll have something to say here in a second. Yep. But I'm going to talk right now because he'll be doing a lot of talking. We already know that. So thank you to everyone. I have always wanted to be able to do something like this, and to be able to do it with one of my best friends is like the coolest thing in the world. You guys are giving me an amazing gift. So thank you. Seth?
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Josh said, I really appreciate everybody. We got another sponsor this week. For those who aren't up to date with it, I think the current donation amount right now, our tip we're going to try to attempt to give out is at, I think, $1,325. That's not including the tip that you lost, the debate you lost last week. So after this week, we'll be close to $1,350. So I can't really believe it. I think, like, we made the videos of saying that we both were ready to just do $80, but now it's so big. We're trying to get it up to $2,000. That's, I think, our new goal, $2,000 by week 9, so that we could, so that we can get it rolling and do 2 massive donations. It's really cool. I just got a text about another sponsorship just now, so that's really cool. Seriously. So that's really gnarly. I'm super excited. It's a really dope. I really can't believe it. I was telling my mom. I think my mom's really proud of this, and I guess it's really cool to be in my early 30s now, and I thought them days of like making my parents proud was kind of done. Trying to be a good dad, and I hear her bragging about it all the time about this little campaign that we're doing. It's really.
I think both of our mamas are pretty proud.
Yeah, I tell people, I've been telling people, like, even if like we don't keep the momentum up and somehow all of it dies, and we only get to do one season for 2021 and 10 years, 15 years, I get to tell my kids, tell my friends that I got to do something really, remarkable with one of my best friends, and we gave away a bunch of money to somebody or to people.
Hey, Firefly should have had more seasons, but they did 1 season and Firefly was amazing. So I'm okay with us going to Firefly status, which is kind of really hard to achieve.
Yeah. Hey, right on, right? You know what I'm saying? So,
but before we actually get started real fast, Seth, because I'm going to let you go first this time. Yeah, because you won. I'll give you that right. If for some reason we get only to this point and like the video cuts out, what we're gonna do is we're gonna like submit like videos of ourselves talking. So if the video format changes from here to whatever happens in the future in the video, no, that's what happened. Seth, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so you challenged me this week, Thor versus Superman, and everybody knows you're a hardcore Marvel fan. I am a comic book fan, so I do lean towards Marvel, but I'm not going to deny the massive impact that DC has done. So let's jump into this. Superman. So let me just say that with Superman versus Thor, I'm going to give you a little edge right now. I'm not going to, what Josh's favorite thing to say during these things. Oh, I concede. You might be right. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that at all. What I'm going to say at the very beginning of my statement is that as of right now, in this moment, during this time in pop culture, absolutely that Thor has momentum. But we're not talking about a one-on-one fight. We're not talking about who currently has the momentum of being a popular superhero, popular comic book, or whatever. We are speaking about Thor and Superman as a whole. So yeah, Thor has momentum right now because of everything that Disney has done. And if you haven't seen if you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, it's probably one of the greatest films that Marvel and Disney did together so far. I'm going to give you that. But we're talking about the entire Superman versus Thor. We're talking about their histories here.
Yeah.
We're talking about their foundations.
Of course.
We're talking about them collectively as a campaign or collectively as a franchise. And this is not even close when it comes to a franchise. Thor can hang probably when regards to battling. You looking stuff up? Go ahead. But
donation time.
Huh?
It's donation time. Go ahead.
Oh, you're okay. Cool. That's
Whatever.
fine. I'm gonna go ahead and set a little timer so I'm not running talking too much. So, Superman. Go back. Superman is one of the original superheroes. Not the most, not the very first one, but one of the most original, very, very groundbreaking characters that was developed. Thor is not that. You go back and look how many TV shows Superman has had. Go back and look at some of the great films that Superman has had. How many kids have had Superman blankets and all this? You're talking about we're like 10 years away, 10, 15 years away from Superman being a century old. That's how big of he is. So I haven't hit yet in regards to the, huh?
How far away are we?
We're like 15, 20 years from him being a century old, right?
Close to 20, yeah.
That's
okay.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Making sure you got that right.
Huh?
Just making sure you got that right. By the way, boom, donation, done.
That's what I'm talking about. So with that, like, I haven't even started talking about his powers. So we can talk about his powers. We can talk about his heightened sense of hearing, his laser vision, his ability to fly, him being bulletproof, right? So I say it all the time. I feel like so last week when we was debating, I was talking about how sometimes there's lazy writing, and I feel like Superman is one of the few superhero characters because like when you do superhero stuff, you can kind of just let your creativity run. And I feel like Thor's kind of a lazy character in regards to its writing and development and things like that. Like he's just a god. Like this is what it is. Superman, you go back, man, you look at the writing, everything he has done, and I get everybody cracks the jokes like, oh, he puts on a pair of glasses, nobody knows who he is. Like I get that, like that's kind of cheesy, but that's back in the times when like not knowing who the superhero was the whole point. Like they were, they didn't want people to know who they were because so that their loved ones wouldn't get, punished or things like that. So you go back and you look at the things like his franchise, his marketability, his time, his impact, his super abilities, his rivalries. Like how many times now have we seen Superman versus this, Superman versus that, and like legit comics and pop culture? I mean, I think at one point, even in the 60s, they did a little cartoon of Superman versus Muhammad Ali. He was that impactful. that he had the biggest celebrity, the biggest athlete in comics with him. So I've talked for 3 minutes now. I'm gonna quit talking. I'm gonna let you go ahead and get a little rebuttal.
So I knew you were going to talk about how like he's like the OG superhero. He was like the very first superhero, like Action Comics, 1939. And you said I'm like only Marvel fan. Like I'm actually, I will say like people could even say I'm maybe a bandwagon fan because I didn't get hardcore into Marvel until it was like Iron Man that kind of sucked me into it. I completely admit that. So when you're listening to me, take that as the bias, if you will. I just think Superman, his like biggest strength is like the plot armor. Like every obstacle he comes across, his riders are just like, he has an ability for that. Like, oh, he can blow really hard and blow his enemy away. I kind of like Superman because I like the idea of him, but I like Thor. I like the story of Thor. And I mean, if we're talking about OG, like Thor is a Norse god. His story is since 9th century. Like they just took like that and translated it.
Right. They stole it. Like
no, they Donald Trumped it. They took it and made
go
it.
Go ahead and talk. I'll rebuttal. Go ahead and talk. I'll quit talking. I'll even mute myself. Hold on. Let me mute myself.
So you can be doing all the stuff like I was doing. Thor, though, he's shown like he's a character who had earned being worthy of wielding Mjolnir. I probably just butchered how to say that. He's an actual god. Superman is like the god of the DC universe. Thor is an actual god. Like that's got to account for something. He's the god of thunder, the god of lightning. He can wield the Bifrost, which is like enables him to travel anywhere in the universe. He, Superman's biggest weakness is kryptonite and magic. Thor is from a place where science and magic are one and the same. So he already has that kind of edge on Superman. And I'll be honest, I think if it came down to an actual physical fist fight, Superman's stronger. Like it's just the way he's written to be. I like Thor though, especially because of the arc that he has now. I thought Marvel got it absolutely right. That being said, I also acknowledge that Thor: The Dark World was another movie I probably could have talked about last week because it was pretty freaking bad. But Thor Ragnarok got it right. His story arc in the Avengers franchise, as far as like Infinity War and what he went through, he just lost everything. He lost his entire family, lost his world, lost his people, lost his weapon. And he didn't kill Thanos. He didn't go for the head like he should have in that moment. And the translation to the 5 years later, and you see like the effects of depression and anxiety and PTSD. And I thought they nailed that on the head. So I like that story that they got. Thor is he's so cool. I mean, Chris Hemsworth is pretty awesome. How many Thors have there been actually portrayed in movies and pop culture? Really, I think there's 2. There was one in that really crappy Captain America movie in the past. Maybe I think there may have been one even in Thor or in the Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno. But I mean, on that topic, Thor did fight the Hulk fist to fist, and Thor Ragnarok, he would have completely kicked the Hulk's ass had it not been for an arguably a very stupid point, but he got stopped by the Grandmaster. Thor though is like he's so cool. Like he's a Greek, or he's not a Greek god. He's a Norse god. He was king. He comes from Viking mythology. Like he's Odin's son. His brother Loki is a really cool villain in the entire franchise, and Loki, like the story of Loki by itself, is just really cool itself. I'm going through my notes though because I want to be a little bit more prepared for this. I will say before I hand it back to you, if you go back to a really, really pretty badly done movie, Batman versus Superman, what was Superman's greatest weapon against Batman? Save Martha. That's what they did with Superman. He was beat by a man in a bat suit by green rocks, which is like leprechaun crack, and Martha. Martha's what saved him. Go ahead.
Hey, I really appreciate you bringing that point up now about Batman beating Superman, and not when we debated Batman versus Iron Man, that Batman beat a god and Iron Man couldn't. But anyway,
didn't he beat a god?
Who?
I mean, well, I guess Thanos was not.
Thanos is a Titan, super nerd.
He just wielded the Infinity Stones and
wiped out. Anyway, I knew you were going to bring up the most recent DC films. I knew that was going to happen, obviously. That's why I brought up at the very beginning of my statement that right now, cinematic-wise, Thor has an edge. I'm not going to give you, I'm not going to deny that. But on the flip side of that, like, let's not sit here and talk about like the most iconic superhero television show still to this day is Superman. You know what I mean? This is what it is. It was a real big deal, when what's his face, the main actor ended up getting kicked off the horse, and he ended up getting
Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves,
yeah, the one, he was real big in the stem cell research and stuff like that. But like when he got paralyzed off the horse, like it was massive impact. Not saying that if something like that would have happened to Chris Hemsworth, that it wouldn't be as well, but Superman is cinematically still a very dominant superhero. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but they're currently right now recasting. They're about to restart the Superman franchise, and it sounds like he's about to get the Spider-Man treatment in regards on the DC side, that they're about to reboot him again. Henry Cavill will not be returning, but I feel like he cracked the joke about Batman versus Superman, but Man of Steel was a very well done movie. Man of Steel was one of the best movies they did, and I actually like Henry Cavill as him. He was real jacked, real burly. He looked good, but you got to go back and look at the other Superman shows and Superman films like that they were good. They were good. So like to sit there to openly state that, and that shows you, even with that his best weapon was save Martha, like that shows you that was like his, I won't say it was his best weapon, that was his best defense, was actual emotion, actual attachment, and relationships. So I get it that Thor can't really have that. I mean, well, you talk about he went through anxiety and depression after the Thanos incident with what do they call it, the snapping. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. We finally got emotion out of Thor. I mean, which is weird because he's a god. So gods are, he got mentally depressed. He's a god, so he has all this strength, but he can't control his own mind. It's really weird. But anyway, Superman, that was his best defense, and it was more of like an emotional connection these guys had. It was just a very similar moment. So, yeah, cool beans that Thor has momentum right now, but it's been how many years of his creation that he finally had some major screen momentum. Yeah, cool beans. He's been hot for a good 7 years. You're right.
70. Okay. So, do you think Superman would be worthy of wielding Mjolnir, Thor's hammer?
Do I think he'd be?
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think his writers would absolutely give him that ability as well. Absolutely. Like, why not? I think his writers would absolutely give him that ability as well.
No, that's not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying.
Superman messed up. Guess what? He can now fly fast enough. He can turn the world, their orbit in reverse, and just go back in time and fix it. Like, yeah. Like, so the only Superman I actually liked was the Injustice version, where he like wasn't afraid to just cat people and like kill the Joker and all this stuff. He did what Batman couldn't. But what I like about Thor 2 is, he was written by the iconic Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Like, Stan Lee has like such a prolific like impact on comic books that when you see one of his creations that, he took the story of Thor, the Norse, the German god Thor, the warrior, the god of thunder and lightning, and he translated him into a comic book that Thor like played a pretty significant part. I mean, the Avengers right now, like you said, like they do have the momentum. So I'm definitely playing on that. I'm not gonna lie. I want the audience to think about that. Like, honestly, right now, what would you rather watch, a Thor movie or a Superman movie?
That's not what we're debating, but okay, it's fine.
Hey, it's one of those tactics I can use. Shut up. I will even go as far as to say I did like Man of Steel, although some people didn't like it. I thought it was decent. I thought they kind of set a decent tone to kind of go off of. It was not the greatest movie at all, but I thought it was okay. I like Henry Cavill Superman, but he's had so many rewrites. I mean, when you have an iconic character like that, I get that. But Thor, like, they got it right with like two actors. Like this new actor, like they've gotten it right. I mean, the momentum is there now because the story was there to be written. Like, you can go off of all Superman stuff in the past. He had a full 32 years of history on before Thor even came into the picture. I'll grant that as far as the comic book goes. But you go back in time, like the history of Thor, like if you really dive into like the mythology that they've tied into the comic book character, it's amazing. Like where his story comes from, who he is, like the warrior, the great warrior that he is, and you know, he like his sister's death. He had to overcome like all these obstacles. He had to overcome so much sacrifice in this current franchise that I think that they just hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly what I can play on. I'm trying to think of a good story in like recent history, and I dare you to go ahead and talk about if you can think of a really good character arc for Superman that he's had in the past 20 years. Go ahead and talk about that right now. If not, I'm going to play on the relevancy and say Thor wins right now. Absolutely. We're talking about character growth, and the current story of Thor was done so well that it makes up for like all the history that Superman has.
To rebuttal what you're speaking on is that, so that's not the debate though. We're not debating of the relevancy of the last 20 years. What we're talking about is Thor overall versus Superman overall. So I get it. So for the last 7 years they've nailed Thor, but Thor's been has been in relevance and been created since 1963. So really cool for them. It took them 50 years to figure the fuck out. And you want to talk about how big? I talked about how Superman had storylines and comics with like pop culture people like Muhammad Ali. He will also like, and at the beginning of his creation, he had also storylines with like they did comics with him like beating the Nazis and stuff like that. So,
of course.
What do you mean? Of course,
like that's a very common like that's what a lot of comic books did for that big extensive. I mean, it's still going on to this day.
Like who?
Captain America.
Yeah, who was around first?
Who was around first?
Yeah, what comic came out first?
Oh, Superman did.
So Captain America, once again, Marvel, swagger jacked, a DC thing. So anyway, that's what I'm getting as the norm here is that, so Marvel, I get it, like they've done a tremendous job in regards to their cinematic films and somewhat now on their television shows, because let's be honest, DC had better television shows. Smallville, I mean, like how big Smallville was. I've been waiting to pull that one out, but I've been having that one in the back pocket. But Smallville, DC, Marvel doesn't even have a television show right now. And well, right now, WandaVision might make up for it. WandaVision is probably their biggest television show they've got, and it's not even on television. Like,
I mean,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was not that good. It was average. Smallville was amazing. It was not that good, bro. It really wasn't.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was pretty good. Like, I'm not saying it was
it was good, but Smallville was big, bro, and it was all Superman. You talk about story writing. That show was whoosh. All the prequel, all the behind the years of him slowly becoming Superman, and then boom, it happens. It was done beautifully. That wasn't too long ago. You talk about 20 years, it's been within that 20 years. So Smallville's right there. And you're talking about lengthy, it's probably just as long as the cinematic thing right now for Thor. So cool, it took them 50 years to figure out Thor. I get that. Superman has consistently, I won't say consistently, but has always, and it's almost a century now, has always had good shows, good films, and it has been a foundation piece for, PopCon and stuff like that. So I really don't get what you're trying to say here in regard to like the last 20 years. Ride the last 20 years all you want, but like Superman had Smallville, then Man of Steel was done really well. They're about to recast him. That's fine. Spider-Man's got recasted not too long ago. Like they legit did a terrible movie and then rebooted it again. So it's exactly what's happening here. They're probably going to kill it because I feel like they're starting to get a little bit of direction. They're getting some cooks out the kitchen over in DC. But in regards to, it's not just who would win in a battle. It's not just who would win in the last 10 years. It's a foundation. It's a campaign. It is this versus that. It is this franchise versus this franchise, and Superman wins that. Like there's no there. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not there. Like there's no competition. He's got the last 7 years. That's it. And he's been around since 1963. That's when he first debuted. And you talk about lazy writing and that. Yeah, Superman's writing. All they do is, let's give him this ability. Like I said, it's a common theme. What I'm seeing is that Marvel stole DC ideas and just changed them slightly. And that's exactly what they did with Thor. So okay, let's create up a new. Oh, let's use the Greek gods and let's do. That's not their idea. All they did, they took somebody else's idea and added on. That's all they did. They're lazy.
So there's always been a constant debate about who stole what from which franchise, and that can I don't want to dive into that because there's like so many examples, and I'd have to probably research to get my thoughts collected, right? So I wasn't prepared for that debate exactly. I'll give you. I like Smallville. It was good enough. I thought it was decent. Like I said, Man Steel was okay. The thing with Superman that I have such a big problem with is like he's too overpowered. Like it's kind of I feel like really easy to write all the stuff when you have the man who can literally do fucking anything.
Oh yeah, like Captain Marvel.
I don't like Captain Marvel.
I'm just saying,
if we ran a debate about Captain Marvel, I probably wouldn't like to be on her side, if I'm being honest. That's why I'm more of a Thor fan because he's more of a he has more flaws that you can actually kind of dig into and create more.
What weaknesses he have? What weaknesses? What's Thor's weakness?
What's his weakness?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Every choice that he makes tends to get him deeper into stuff until he finally breaks through and gets out of that, right? And that's where you get that beautiful writing in these past few years. I don't know. I didn't actually look up his weaknesses because I wasn't worried about him. I was more worried about Superman's weaknesses, which is magic, and Thor knows how to use magic. So
lazy writing. Lazy writing. He don't have weaknesses, bro.
Okay, what weaknesses does Superman have other than kryptonite and magic?
He has weaknesses. He has more weaknesses.
Exactly. So does Thor. You can't say that.
Better writing.
Yeah. So I just said the exact same thing for my guy. I mean, and you also have the versions of Superman where he like became like a Soviet, like the Red Sun, like he was for the Soviets. Like there's been different variations like of Superman.
Oh yeah, did Captain America do that too? Oh, because they stole that as well.
Actually, I'm trying to think if that was actually a Captain America thing first or not. I have to look that up after
About what?
About if Captain America was evil first and went to Hydra before Superman Red Sun. I'm not sure. We'll have to look that up.
I'll do it right now. Keep talking. Do your little stance. Let the people vote.
But I mean, like, and again, like I guess I have to give you the longevity of Superman does prevent. There's a lot of stories you can say that comes from that. But in his let's see, almost 100 years. No, is it 100? Almost 100 years, like 80 years of writing. You're talking about Smallville and Man of Steel. Thor's been around since '62, and we're talking about one amazing franchise where they were able to get it right. Like so, where do you really want to go with that as far as the writing of Superman? Like again, it's easy to do these stories where people are fighting Nazis. Like that's a pretty common theme. It's like getting mad at someone for singing "Happy Birthday" to Chuck E. Cheese. Like how original?
No, bro. No, we're talking about creativity, bro. Like,
the idea of fighting the Nazis. The idea of fighting the Nazis is like it's a pretty common theme, no matter what. You can't say like that's solely a Superman thing or solely a DC thing. That's a pretty common idea. You played Call of Duty. Are you mad at them for doing the D-Day stuff and you have to fight the Nazis on the beach? Like really? I am a fan of both these characters. I tend to go more towards Thor right now. I'm gonna definitely ride that momentum wave. You made some very valid arguments about like the history of Superman. I'll give you that. I just think though, when you have a superhero who literally his biggest thing is plot armor, like he comes across a problem and somehow it magically gets fixed because he has this hidden ability that we haven't known about. Thor's ability that we've currently known about was literally just him realizing like, oh, I'm not a god of hammers. I'm a god of thunder. And he's able to wield that. He did have to have, a weapon to kill Thanos because Thanos was that powerful. I'm trying to think of a recent villain that Superman's had to face that we've had to see and really go through other than like Lex Luthor, like super smart person. Again, if Superman was really that OP, he'd be able to like kill him in a second. Thor actually has to fight like he's more grounded of a character. Like I'm not trying to say Thor's a stronger character than Superman because he's not written to be that way. He's written to have those challenges and struggles. Superman's just like, oh, he can do freaking everything. He just chooses not to because he's not that bright. And I'll go back and even kind of backtrack your thing about the glasses thing. It's actually, I think, scientifically proven that if like someone does a small alteration and you're not looking to see them as that person, you're not going to notice it. Like Google search Zoe Deschanel without bangs. You won't know it's the same person. What'd you find for us?
There's just plenty of examples of when of people fighting fascism. So, well, fascism. So, I'm just like, there's tons of them. I'm running through it. So,
yeah,
a lot of it looks to be DC's idea, but
again, it's not a DC idea. It's a pretty common theme to fight the Nazis.
No, like what I'm saying is that the Nazis kind of like Marvel did it later down the road. I mean, there are some.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, they did do it later, but I'm trying to. So when you're trying to say it's their original idea, do you think that if DC did not do that, that the Marvel franchise would have never done that?
Yes.
Really? So the viewers, I want you to think about that question.
No, that's not what we're debating here, though.
No, it's something to think about, though. Like I'm going to manipulate the audience as much as I can because that's what a debate is.
Oh, wow. You hear the audience? Josh thinks they're puppets and he can manipulate you. I'm just saying Superman is the better franchise.
I didn't say my audience. I said the audience.
Closing arguments. I'm going to go first. Everyone knows Superman is the better franchise. And that's what we're debating here. Not who would win in a battle, not who's been more dominant the last 5 to 7 years. Or, momentum, pop culture, whatever. We're talking about franchise versus franchise people. So what I need you to listen to, the 3 people that listen to this debate all the way through, you 3 people, I need 2 of you at least to vote for me. And you know that Superman has been around longer. 2 mega shows. I'm talking about on television. I ain't talking about a movie, 2 movies, 3 movies. I'm talking about 2 massive television shows. A length and time of when there were movies out that were real. I mean, what was it, the 70s and 80s when Superman movies were booming? They were big. This character has been around for a long time and has the foundation. Superman, hands down, obviously, is the bigger franchise. That's all I have, Josh.
So when you're voting for this, right, our debate has been about like Superman versus Thor. I want you to think about right now, because you have to live in the moment sometimes too. What franchise do you like better? Be honest. Like, this is going to be completely on you guys to vote on this because I'm a fan of both of these franchises. I just happen to think that Thor has a stronger franchise, like as it stands right now. Superman does have the longevity. I cannot argue that. Superman does have more powers. I cannot argue that. He was written that way. But we're talking about franchises. What franchise do you guys most like right now? That's all it's going to come down to. I think Thor wins. He's worthy. His character arc right now is freaking amazing, and that's part of the franchise. So I can definitely discuss that. His character arc, his character writing is done so right. And we're going to be getting more of that. We don't know what we're going to be getting with Superman in the future. We know what the trajectory we're going to be getting with Thor in the future. Like, they had the hiccup with Thor 2. Absolutely. We'll get past that and the blonde eyebrows. But Thor 3 was so good that you can count it as one of the top movies in an amazing franchise. It's top 3 because Black Panther's up there for me. Yeah. I think Thor wins this debate when it comes to what franchise do the voters most like right now. Because it's up to you guys. Absolutely. He says you need 2 voters. We only have 3 voters. I'm going to give our audience a lot more credit. I think our family at least is going to pull through for us. So glad to know you have that much faith in your family to come through. Yeah, I know my family's going to come through for me, and I know your family loves me. I'm part of it. So what can I say? You guys, please make sure to leave your comments on the video. Shoot us a private message if you want to. Share the hell out of this video. That's how we're going to get in front of so many people. That's how we're going to get our sponsors' names in front of so many people, and we can continue to grow the show, because I know Seth said that he wants to do, or he's okay with just a one-off, and I'm not okay with that. I want to continue this momentum. I do think it's really cool to be able to do something like this with you, man. But I want to continue to do this because this has been a lifelong dream of mine, to be able to give back to a community that I love, and right now is the perfect time for that. So this has been a really fun debate. I'll tip my hat off to you, man. You had some really good arguments.
Put it back on.
Yeah, the glare's a little strong with this one. You had some pretty good arguments, man. I'm not even gonna kind of fret that. I still think my arguments win out in the end because it's about who people want to vote for. So I'm gonna shut up here in a second, hand it back to Seth. I'm gonna say thank you for our sponsors. Thank you to our family, our friends, everyone who's supporting us through this whole thing. It has been amazing. And thank you to my friends, Sarah and Mark. I'm down in their house right now in Florida, recording this podcast in their house, and they're being gracious enough to let me do that when I'm on vacation. So it's been really cool, man. Seth, back to you.
Hey, yeah, just like what Josh said, like Josh just stated, you guys need to vote for Superman. So I appreciate everyone.
You're going to edit me out, aren't you?
What?
Are you going to edit it to make it look like I said that?
I'm absolutely not going to edit it. Hey, I really appreciate all the support on behalf of Josh and myself. Once again, we did not think we'd be over the $1,000 mark. Now we're marching towards $2,000. That's the goal. Thank you so much. If you know anybody who wants to donate, if you know anybody with a small business or a big business that wants to sponsor, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to $15 real quick will get you on a sponsor. If you would rather just like to donate a small amount of money, that's what we're doing. Just trying to raise money and give back to people. It's all about good things. So real quick, shout out to our sponsors. Let's start off with them wild country boys over at Hilljack Motorsports. We love you guys. Yeet. Go out there and get it. J&A Communications, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Mondo Strike, I got to put my order in. I don't know why I haven't ordered yet. I got to do it. I'm going to do it either this week or next week. Mondo Strike, thank you guys. You can order from them on Instagram or on their website, mondostrike.com. Also, Glendale Automotive, man, you guys have been freaking crazy so far this season. Really appreciate
the donation last week, dude. They matched the $500 donation. Yeah. Crazy.
Everybody who pulled through donating, and Glendale Automotive matched it. Thank you so much. Our newest sponsor, Child's Play Fitness. If you guys don't know Trayvon Childs, he's a 4-time Indiana Golden Glove champion. He's a certified personal trainer, certified nutritionist. The guy is the truth. If you're trying to lose that COVID weight, this is the guy. He helped me lose 30 pounds last year. I've kept it off with his diet recommendations. And now he's about to start doing core workouts on Saturdays. You got to get with him. Trayvon Childs, Child's Play Fitness. He's the truth. We're going to have a couple more sponsors, but I'm not going to plug them until we hit that money. We're trying to give it back, but we'll definitely plug you guys the moment you guys hit that money in there. Well, love you guys so much. Thank you for your support. We didn't hear from Dr. Mauvais this week. I'm really interested where he's at. Where has Dr. Mauvais been? I don't know if the government has kidnapped him because that's what he for sure was panicking on.
He seemed to be in a pretty precarious situation last time. I mean, he was talking about nipples. It's weird.
Yeah, so he became a sponsor as well. So, but we haven't seen him. So, Dr. Mauvais, we hope you're safe and we hope you're okay. Don't know what you're doing, but please be safe. And absolutely. Zach Brown, where the heck are you? You're supposed to be a moderator. No, we know Zach has got a promotion at his job. Just got his degree. Zach got his degree for going to school, and he's an awesome dad. So we're hoping to get him. If we can't get him, probably reach out to somebody else, rotate moderators. But we miss you. All of our sponsors, all of our people who have been pushing our campaign and what we're trying to do, thank you. I am Seth. That is Josh. Josh, you have anything to say?
May the force be with you.
Always, much love. Right. Stop recording.